So we're going to start the video from this position. I've taken the outside casing off. There's plenty of videos online showing you how to do that. So, and there's a few showing you how to get this next piece off. So there's two screws there and there. So they're just there, and they take, not that one, that. So we're just going to remove those now, and then get back to you. So we're basically repairing a joystick that no longer can run. So on certain games like Battlefield, Fortnite, you end up, this is the thing that gets depressed and doesn't work. Let's just have a look at this one. It's coming from China. Pretty inexpensive component, but you've got to wait for it. So if you're going to do this, order it in time. It could take like 3 weeks to get there. I've just seen that there's a slight bend in the pin there. I don't know if you can see that too well. Sorry for the quality, I'm just shooting at an angle, but you still probably find this video helpful. So that's what we're going to try and get soldered on. So I've took the two screws out there, and these vibrating motors just slot in and out of there. So you've got to just be a little bit gentle with this, because there's some wires, and it looks like, I'm sure there's only those two screws. Just take those out. Yep, there we go. And I'm going to try and flip it rather than, let me just gently tuck that in there. Can it flip around, because I'm trying to, I know what I have to do. I haven't taken these things off, so these just pull off, these thumb screws, they just pull off there. So now, and there you can see the joystick, and that's the one we need to repair actually. So when it's turned upside down, this is the left one. So, and now I can gently, this not overstretching any of the wires, but I can, and this is another tip. This thing is just free flowing. It's the microphone part, so you can just pull that out for the moment. Gently flip this. Well, you can't flip it any more than that, because that wire's going to pull to destruction, which we do not want. So and we are not going to desolder that either, so we want to flip it the other way. So I'm going to pull these out, and then hopefully gently flip it the other way. There we go, that's the technique. And then maybe I can just get those to rest back in there. And then you want to somehow get in a position where you can hold this to work on it, although and check it's the right one as well. So that's the left hand one, this is the one we're working on, but obviously we're working on this side, so we need a little, one of those little clamper vices to just help us hold that in place and get rid of the soldering wires we need. So if we offer this one up, can start to see which wires we have to get rid of. There's the three there, that one there, that one there, and then another three. One there, two. And there's also these two here. So I've just got to try and really gently bend this. Really gently. That's such a shame that that's... bent over. That's it, that's fine. couple of them have been bent, so I think they're good. That's the bit that's... So I'm going to cut the video here, get my soldering stuff out, and get ready to desolder all of the points that I need to desolder. We don't think we're going to do that little bit there. God, you can't really see any of this, but so these are the points that correspond. I don't know how well that's coming into focus, but you've just got to basically check it. So that's the orientation of it. So you've got these two here, which are these two, and then you've got two ones there, which is those two, and then there's three on the end here. That one, that one, that one, that one, and that one and that one. So that's it. So the next phase of this video is going to be to desolder these with some wick or whatever, and that's what I'm going to shoot next. So that's the tricky bit. So we've got our soldering iron that's to temperature. I'm just going to see how easy it is to desolder, and this apparently is a bit tricky and it goes on for a while, but we'll keep cutting or fast forwarding to make it quicker. It says 250 degrees, and that would be C, is best for welding in the instructions, so God bless the Chinese pigeon English. Soldering, you're not welding, but yeah, it's maybe wanting a little bit hotter. There are some solders that actually take a bit more soldering than others. I think silver solder takes a higher temperature. I seem to remember from memory that, here we go, it's melting, that the original stuff took a higher heat temperature to get in on some application, whatever it was, and the trouble is you need it hot enough to stay molten long enough. And of course it conducts through. Might have to my finger on the trigger. I've found a technique that works a bit better for this, so make sure you've got the plunger. Swap hands, so I'm right-handed, so I'm using my soldering iron in the left hand, which gives me better accuracy for when I need to, and I hold it on so it's sufficiently melted, and then go all the way over, and then it does take a few goes, and it's a new skill for me, so probably will be for you too. Of course, if you're watching this video, you probably knew about as much as I did about getting this repaired. There you go, see, that's cleaned that one up pretty good, taking the solder off a treat. So I've got another 3 to do here, but that was the tip anyway, just to try and, nope, you don't have to get all the way over anyway. Not sure if that will come out or not. Let's see if this works any better. Right, so it's soldering iron in the left hand, your non-hand, and then melting it. I think I've got mine set at about 250, 260 degrees. So it did get a chunk of it then. It's still not going to want to budge, I'm sure, when I've got this out. There you go, they're pretty clean. Not sure if it's focusing okay. Now I've just got to check, do I need that one as well? So again, as always, I just take the new one and just see, yeah, that one is that big chunky one there, so I do need to take that off. So it's almost the hardest thing about this job is actually getting the plastic off the controller, because of they put on safety pins in the middle of the screws, so even if you've got an electronic set, you need to upgrade to the electronic set with the pin in the middle, or as some people have said, you can actually punch out the middle bit, brute force it, which is what I've sort of did, or I got some sort of a screw driver that worked and just almost destroyed the head of the screw to get it out, and then possibly look at replacing with. So there we go, they're all pretty clear now. So I managed to struggle and get the other one out. It took a bit of brute forcing at times, and nothing got damaged on the board, no wires were pulled out or anything, so I think I've escaped quite well. This is the new one now, I've just slotted in. So the old one, I don't know if you can see that, kind of got destroyed. There's pieces of it. And I had to sort of pull bits off to so I could get it out. There was a little bits of solder remaining, but it's done, it's off, and the new one is on. I mean, who cares about that? Source of much annoyance after giving me such joy. So the other one has slotted in. I've been careful to make sure it's all the way home, and more than that, I've just tried to touch each and every metal one to make sure none of them have bent over and they've all gone through okay. So it looks good, they're ready for resoldering. So I'm back to using it right-handed, just feeding a bit of solder in, heating up the joint. I've not tried to use any flux at the moment, so it might need, yeah, it's not really taking. I think we need some flux. So, old soldering iron disappeared with the flux and everything else, so we're trying to carry on. It seems to flow a bit. There you go, it's a decent joint. And there's another one here. This is, my eyes are failing me, God. There you go. That's it. This is a hell of a lot quicker going in this direction, so let's heat that first. Make sure that's, I think it's more the fact that I didn't really have, I think they look alright. You've probably got enough solder on the iron now. So I'm just really hoping that I haven't damaged the board. I mean, I'm doing this as an experiment. I've just resigned myself to having to buy a new controller eventually, or have made my peace with it if it doesn't work. And I just really love trying to fix stuff. And if you're the same, then you can find these parts. I'll put some stuff in the description of the video and you can have a go yourself. I mean, it's kind of a good thing taking things apart in a way. So there we have it. Now it's just a matter of reassembly with 2 screws. Once the motherboard, once the circuit board is aligned, and it just pretty much slots in. Never rush this stuff, and for that reason, you know, the wires are all preserved. Just take care, really don't be ham-fisted about it. I actually just did all of this work while it was in the cradle because it made it a lot easier. And then these, they go on first. They just push on. So you can see any of that. I'm going to test it before putting all of the screws in, but I'll put most of the screws in. Watch out your soldering iron, no bits of paper around, so that you can fly and fire. Tuck cables neatly in so they're not going to get pinched on anything. And then it's just the battery slips going in. It's a fiddly job, but rewarding. I've got those in, so right, that's it. That is in place. So I swap to my other driver and see, these are the screws that need replacing. I've got 2 of them that survived okay. Yeah, and they said replace the dodgy ones if you can without that silly security pin in. I mean, it's ridiculous. Microsoft, what are you doing? You know we're going to get on YouTube and do it all ourselves. So I've got 2. You can actually use the controller with just these 2 in. So, and for testing purposes, that's what I will do. I've got so I can go and test that now as that is. We'll go and see if I can run again, because that's what's all this been about, is that you can't depress that because the forgot my mic bit. Not a massive deal. I'll just show you how that goes in real quick. Is it that slot? Yes, it just sits on there, so you know that it's got to be that way around. It just sort of nestles in there and then just gets trapped in place. And I'm amazed that works. Oops. Oh, I'm excited. I hope this works. If that works, that will be a triumph. Oh God, it'll be a triumph. Perseverance. Always be persevering in whatever you do. Because even if it doesn't work, you learn something. What's that? The screw that I dropped. Oh, it's already in. It's a fantastic summer. You never know, I might be watching this back in a year's time going, wow, do you remember last summer? So we want to put that on, battery cover in.
That looks like it. Don't force anything, please. This is obviously a way that they like to go. So that is something's holding it up, so let's have a look. Get the wires out of the way. Got the motors in okay. Not going to nip anything with that. This probably sounds very mumbly. Sorry about that. But you know, hey ho. Come on. You know how I said don't get rough with it? You need to get a little bit rough. Just a little bit. What's stuck in there? Something's not right. Take that one off. Pause it and come back.